Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Justin Allen, and I am here with
Moses Wartooth.
And as always, we got some stuff for you today, man. So we're going to go ahead and start with some more current events occurring in America. You want to go ahead and take the lead on this, Moses?
The shocking hypocrisy, what we're faced with on a daily basis.
Oh, God, man. This state we're about to talk about, I mean, it is like some biblical plague is descending upon this liberal shithole. So, I don't know, man. You tell the story. We'll watch the video about it. But
just a quick little teaser of what's going on. The people on their mighty thrones eating their steak are getting pissed at us peons eating our ground beef.
Yeah.
They're tired of it.
It's cow farts, man.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to.
So bad.
Let's watch this video and then we'll shit on it because I got a couple points I want to make with this.
This morning, the UN still won't condemn the brutal Hamas attacks against innocent Israelis. Instead, they're focusing on another war, the war against climate, urging the world to cut back on beef to help fight it. Meanwhile, world leaders reportedly dining on prime rib and burgers, smash burgers, at yesterday's UN climate event, a hypocrisy, our next guest says, reminds her of growing up in communist China. Helen Raleigh is the author of Confucius Never Said. She joins us now to explain. Helen, welcome to Fox and Friends. I'm so glad to have you. I love having guests like you who can tell us, sort of warn us of what you've seen in China. And you know what it's like to have your government, the Communist Party, restrict meat, right?
Oh, good morning, Rachel. Yes, when I was growing up, the Chinese government imposed a very strict food rationing system, including limitation on meat. So for each one of us, we received the food coupon, which was only allow us to purchase 2 pounds of meat each month. But due to the widespread food shortages, even that 2 pounds of meat was not guaranteed. So without having meat for weeks or months, without a good source of nutrition, the Chinese people's life expectancy back in the 1960s was only 44 years.
Ooh.
But nowadays, when Chinese people actually have more meat in their diet, the life expectancy has improved to about 77 years. So this which showed you the government ruined its policies, how much they ruined our well-being in the past.
Yeah, and so here, our government, and by the way, it's not really our government as much as these, organizations like the World Economic Forum and these crazy globalists, they want to restrict meat. They're using the climate as the excuse. They know that meat is a nutrient-rich food, that, anywhere that people eat meat, they get healthier. Where you restrict meat, they get less healthy and lose life expectancy, as you talk about. So why do you think they want to launch this war on farmers? They're launching a war on small farmers. They're launching a war on ranchers. What's at the heart of this, as you analyze it from your perspective?
Well, I think they are all, this climate alarmists, they're really eco-socialist. Their thinking is derived directly from the Marxist playbook. It's not about the climate. They don't really care about lowering global warming or help with the climate. Their intent is to control the freedom of people to choose how they want to live their life. So they want to tell us what the car to drive, what the source of energy we should use, what the gas, what the stove we should cook our meal on. And now they're not satisfied with those restrictions. They want to actually tell us how much to eat and what to eat on a monthly basis. It's all about control of freedom. Has nothing to do with the environment.
Right.
Oh, hell no, brother.
Dude, 2 pounds a month?
Dude, fuck that, man. Like a normal steak is what, like a pound?
I don't know. Like I know for a fact that I eat a bare minimum of 20 pounds of beef a month because I buy every 2 weeks I buy the 10-pound brick of fucking beef.
Yeah. God damn, dude. Yeah, that's just like straight up just government control, man. And like the thing is, it's not even our government. Like it was the UN, so they're trying to put like, I don't know.
Be like, why don't they pay their fucking NATO dues before they tell me how much meat I can eat?
I want to know what they say their justification is climate change, right?
Which is total bullshit.
Because it's kind of fucking funny because they're like, cows fart and produce methane, and methane's a greenhouse gas, and it causes like the heating of the earth or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I've read some shit in the past where they've explained, I've seen it like laid out before, like with legitimate testing, peer-reviewed articles, and it shows like how like organic farming, so like no pesticides in quotation, right? because they still use pesticides. It's
Yeah.
just they limit what they do use. Takes up like 4 times the amount of like farmland as like regular farming does, and just the effects that it has like on the environment is way more detrimental than like farming like
traditional
livestock and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. So I don't know, man. Like it's always some bullshit, man. But I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, dude. But I always like to think that like the elitists, you can call them the Illuminati, you can call them a shadow government, whatever it may be. But they just want to have total control of people, man. And we see it all the time. And like, for example, like we saw like big tech, right? Like mass surveillance was going on. Them like filtering information that's occurring right now. We've had our own issues with that in the past or whatever. But, you know, and it was funny is like, I remember in the 90s hearing rumors about mass surveillance. And then people would be like, no, that's impossible.
That would never happen.
Do you realize how much server space it would take to store all that data? And then fast forward, like in the mid 2000s or whatever, like Snowden comes out, it was like, oh no, we've been doing this for a long time. And everybody was like, oh fuck, you know? So, but it's always like some form of control, man. And I think, I mean, the truth is, dude, they got media on lock. Like, I mean,
oh, yeah,
big tech
100%.
media, it's on lock, 100. But there's no getting around that. So then, like, you start looking at like what's next, man. Like, there's housing. We've seen that shit occurring with like fucking BlackRock and all that crap.
Oh yeah, buying up residential homes.
Yeah, man. And then eventually it just comes down to like water and food supply. And I think that at the heart of everything is what it's about. It's like, if you, no matter what the public's opinion is, if you can control the food source, you have ultimate control of the people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's happened just historically. Like, you know what I mean? So,
well, like she was talking about in China.
yeah, dude, that shit.
I don't care what people say. You fucking need meat in your diet. All those vegans and carnivore or vegetarian motherfuckers.
Yeah,
they look sick as shit.
They look sick, man,
Yeah.
and they have no fucking energy. They're always fucking tired, man.
What would you do if you were trying to control your people? You would want them weak. You would want to take their nutrients away from them so they're fucking lethargic and going to the goddamn doctor getting prescribed more pills to kill them anyways.
You ever seen those like vegan cats?
No, is it like on a deathbed?
Yeah, Joe Rogan had it in like one of his, like, I think his latest stand-up special that came out like 5 years ago or something. Yeah, there was a thing called, he was shitting on vegans hardcore, and there's a thing called vegan cats, like that was trending for a while, like back when Twitter was Twitter and stuff. And he was like, go look this shit up, man. And he has this whole skit about it. And he's like, and you just see these cats, like, and they look like they're an inch from death.
And
like,
barely move.
barely move. Their eyes are all milky. Like, they're just like, fucking kill me. What is this woman feeding me?
I've had a piece of fish in fucking months.
You know? So there's definitely something to it. I mean, like,
dude, that reminds me. So I don't remember, it was on a talk show, but this guy brought his dog on and was like, I have a vegan dog, and the host was like, no way. He was like no, the dog doesn't like meat, he only eats vegetables. So then the host pulls out a fucking steak and the dog just immediately chomps it, and he's like, what? And the guy was like, the vegan dude of course got pissed off and was like, he doesn't normally do that. Like, he tried to
cover it up or whatever, and brush it under the rug.
He thought it was kale.
Yeah, dude. That sounds like I don't know, man. That's just
animal abuse.
I think it
That's
is.
fucking
Yeah,
animal abuse.
I think it is 100%.
Like, if you want to waste away your own body and fuck yourself up, that's stupid on you. But don't do it. Don't force it on some other living individual. Like,
now, there are some things I can see an argument for. Like, I could see an argument against milk. I could see that.
oh yeah,
I'm not saying milk isn't healthy by any means, but so let's get out of like away from like the antibiotics and stuff like that are being used on cows or whatever, that's been known to influence the quality of our milk and have an effect on our body. So let's just say it's pure natural milk or whatever, right? The thing is like, I can't remember what percentage. It's a very, very high percentage of the population globally is actually lactose intolerant.
yeah.
I think it's like 80%.
Well, I think I feel like if you drink milk for a prolonged amount of time, you'll like develop lactose intolerance. Like my grandma, for an example, she literally drank milk she went through a lot of milk a day, drank it every day, and now she's lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
And she has to she can't drink milk at all and has to drink lactose-free milk and take the little pills before she eats ice cream and shit.
God, it sucks, man.
But
that's why, like, I mean, I know we both lived in Asia for a while, separately, not together, because we're not gay.
no,
like the comment sections usually say. They're just like, what are these two homos up to again, or whatever, you know. So, different time periods. We lived in Asia, but like one thing I noticed over there is you couldn't find like dairy milk.
Yeah,
like it was all like almond milk and stuff like that, because like typically most Asians, like almost all of them, are lactose intolerant. They'll get sick as a fucking dog if they have it, man. And some of my Korean friends explained, I was like, damn, because I remember grocery shopping, I was like, can I just find some fucking milk around here? And they're like, oh yeah, try this. I was like, no, I don't mean like soy milk or like dairy milk. Like, can I find this from a fucking cow? And they were like all confused. They were like from a cow? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, no, we don't have that shit here. Get out of here, Western imperialist. But yeah, man, I know you're big into fitness, man, and well, at least one of us is, and so you know more about like dieting and stuff like that, man. Have you read about the links from dairy to obesity and stuff and diabetes?
I have. So like from personal experience, for years I drank about 2 measuring cups full of milk every day.
Yeah.
And as of January 1st of this year, I've stopped drinking milk totally. I haven't noticed any difference because milk didn't affect me, but again, I didn't drink a lot of it. Like 2 cups isn't that much.
Yeah.
But in the past, if I drank a lot of it, it would make me sick. But I think with everything, it's kind of like, as long as you're not getting too crazy with it, just limit your intake on stuff, and you're okay with it. I'm not really against it. I've just stopped drinking it for whatever fucking reason now, but I didn't really have like a set reason as to why I stopped. But so far, I mean, I've been fine. I haven't missed it, and I don't intend to start drinking milk.
It fucked me one time. I had a friend who did like a deep dive into it, and he was, well, what he said fucked with me. He was like, yeah, I'm going to quit milk, man. This is like 10 years ago. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? All right, I still smoked cigarettes back then. That tells you anything, you know? I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, that's just like some hippie shit, you know what I mean? And he was like, no, dude. He's like, he went on some health stuff or whatever, but he said, can you name another mammal that drinks the milk from any other like species of animals? And I was like, nope.
Or another mammal that continues to drink milk into adulthood. That's another argument too.
But also, find me another animal that drives cars or flies planes.
Sure that.
You know? So.
And on a side little note, bodybuilders drink breast milk.
I have heard that. Isn't it?
But that's different because it has like actual nutrients, I guess, and probably some colostrum in there too, which is supposed to be good for you. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, it'd beef you up like hardcore or whatever. That shit's, dog, there's no way, man. I would throw
just take whey protein, man. Like, you ain't gotta
go down that rabbit hole.
Save that shit for a baby that needs it.
Sounds fucking gym rats go crazy with their shit, man.
Oh yeah.
And like, especially the steroid game has gotten like insane now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of weird shit.
I mean, kids are doing that shit. Kids that haven't even hit like their full, like they haven't even started to drop T levels, and they're fucking taking steroids and jacking that shit up.
God,
they're gonna be 30 years old and have fucking big old titties. Yeah. And
I knew a guy
like shit.
I knew a guy that had to have a what do you call it, mastectomy?
Yeah, because he got gynecomastia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he literally grew tits, and
they hurt too.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it was so freaking painful. And then he showed me his scar, man, and it literally went from like it
looked like you got a boob job.
No, I mean, because the boob jobs are like small slits now. Like
now. Back in the 80s, they were like that
fucking war zone. Like you just got hit with shrapnel.
You're like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
I got to look at you from the top.
My God. Some tig-o bitties. What the fuck? You know? That'd be terrifying to see that.
Oh, man.
But he had his surgery, and then he took his shirt off, showed it to me, and I was like, dude, that looks like the most painful shit I could ever imagine. He said it was nothing compared to like actually growing tits or whatever.
Shit. Well, dude, I saw like some guy like filmed his surgery getting them removed, and he was like had mild anesthetic, but you have to stay awake. Like they can't knock you out for that shit.
And they just like cut across and flip it up.
Yeah, dude, and they would cut these like meaty chunks of flesh out, dude, and just drop it in a fucking pan.
It's like, good God Almighty, man! Like that's got to be that right there. That right there is enough to dissuade me from ever taking like steroids. Now, if like I know like some dudes like now what's becoming popular is like getting on like testosterone like because of old age or whatever.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you actually have low T and it's like medically prescribed
and it's highly monitored.
Yeah.
And it's super low doses. or whatever. Because I've listened to like some people talk about it or whatever, and they're like, yeah, they were like, what you're getting is like 100th of what like someone who's shooting junk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I know 2 guys, man, just 2 regular dudes. They in their 40s, both in their 40s, and they got prescribed to be put on like T-shots or whatever. And dude, they said it is amazing. One dude used to be like real heavy set. He lost a bunch of weight.
Yep.
Like his hair started growing back because it was like thinning or whatever. Dude, he was like, man, he's like, I'm not tired at all, dude. He's like, I feel like I'm back in my like late 20s, early 30s again, man. He was like,
That's good.
Fucking good, man. But he said the downfall is, he was like, I got a lot of body hair now starting to show up.
So, I got that problem anyway, so.
Hey, man, I got a baby smooth ass, dude. I ain't trying to change that, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, so I don't know, man, but I guess it's like to tie it all back into the dairy industry, not dairy industry, sorry, the beef industry that we were talking about earlier, man. It's always just some form of fucking control.
Yeah, and these are the people that are bitching at us about eating beef, but then fly around in private fucking jets and
while eating like beef.
Yeah, while eating fucking filet mignon and shit. Like, get out of here, man.
Like, I remember when fucking AOC, god damn it, dude, I really think she might be the Antichrist. Although she's kind of shut up in recent years.
She has. I ain't heard him shit up.
I think she got her shit pushed in by the Democrat.
Pushed in. That's a good analogy.
She got her shit pushed in by the DNC, and they were like, "Shut the fuck up," you know what I mean?
They were like, "You were cool for a while, but now it's time for you to back off."
Well, because like when she got elected, now I'm going back down another rabbit hole. All right, let me make my point first, then we'll talk about that. But yeah, man. So like when she first got elected, she was coming in and she was like talking about global warming. You remember the Green New Deal? The Green New Deal. They were like, "This is a multi-trillion-dollar deal," and everyone was like, "Are you fucking high? We cannot do this." And the one thing they wanted to go after was cattle farmers. And they were like, yeah, you know, these cows, they shit, they produce methane, and it's a greenhouse gas, and that's bad. Dog, on the chart of things that cause global warming, okay, I studied this shit in school for like chemistry. That is nowhere near the top. Like, that is not anywhere you need to be worried about, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it on the list?
Shit we got going on.
Is it on the list? Sure. Like, you know what I mean? But do you need to topple our financial institution to do so? Not at all. You dumb bitch. But you remember like when she was in that squad or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I call them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because everything they would fucking say would like literally be like the end of like Western civilization, you know? You remember when she went down to those detention centers on the border and was like crying, but they were like faked? She was like in a parking lot. And she was like acting like she was like outside of a cage looking at children.
She fucking squirted Visine at her eyes and was like, oh.
And then other photos came out and she's just staring at a parking lot. It's just like there's like cars there. There's no people. But yeah, man. So, but she came out with that shit and I was like, dog, this is going to be a fucking thing now, dude. Like, fuck off, dude. And I'm sorry, man, but like, people gotta eat, dude, and that's like one of the most natural fucking things that you can do.
And where the fuck is PETA in all this? I thought they liked animals. How they're trying to get rid of the cows? Like,
I don't know. Maybe they saw our fucking video and they backed off.
Maybe they understood we were right.
Ingrid Newkirk is running the largest wet market in Wuhan, China, according to Dumpster Diaries Podcast.
She knows where the bats came from.
For those of you who don't know, that's the CEO of PETA. So we accused her based on high levels of intelligence we received.
From Chuck Schumer.
From Chuck Schumer, our inside guy. These are all references to shorts we've done. So if you're not getting them, you need to go through and watch those because some of them are pretty fucking good, man. I still just can't get over the fact that some of these people believe that shit's real. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we'll say some outlandish shit and be like, oh, the moon's made of cheese, and people go, like, you know.
But hell, I mean, whenever you watch legitimate news, like, look at these people, they're eating fucking steaks and talking bad about people eating cows, like,
yeah,
and flying on private jet, like, it's the same.
It's always something too, man. It's always like some problem they're bitching.
It's always like, you guys are bad, we're good.
we guys is good.
We do nothing wrong. It's you guys.
It's always like that, man. I want to be in those, like, because you know there's an agenda to that. Now, like I said, a conspiracy theorist, I think it's just all about controlling mass populations.
I think they want us weaker.
That, and then I do think that
they're going to take our meat away, they're going to take our guns away, and then we're just going to be lethargic fucking idiots that can't do nothing.
And I think a lot of it, too, is, like, kind of centered around, like, the population control as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, fertility rate in men has been dropping for years. And then what's crazy is, like, if you look at some Western societies, the birth rate is inverse now.
Really?
there's more people dying than there is people being born. Japan's like famous for it. They're not a Western society, but they're famous for it. I think for every like 2 people dying, there's 1 person being born right now in this current generation. They sell more diapers in Japan for adults than they do for children.
Well, Generation Alpha, like, and Z, but mainly Alpha is the main talking point. I just listened to a psychologist talk about this for a long time, but she was basically saying like there's, which is another side thing, but 42% of children are diagnosed with a mental illness in America right now. 42 fucking percent.
Do you think 42% of children have mental illness?
Fuck no. I think people are just shopping around trying to accuse their children doesn't sit in a goddamn chair because it's boring as shit, so they just fish around until they can get them some drugs to put them on and just melt their goddamn brains so they sit there and do nothing with their life.
Look, man, I'll tell you a little bit because I know a little bit about how this fucking world works, man. When it comes to scientific research, who finances that shit?
Typically, whoever's going to make money off of it.
Corporations. Sometimes
companies.
It's private grants from private individuals or whatever. You'll see those in the forms of like scholarships and stuff, or like grants used like for university for like research. Like the university I go to, like I do like research through them for like chemistry, and I get a check like every semester. It's like $500 or something. It's not a lot of money, but it's a grant specifically if you do chemistry research, right? And long story short, guy who went there years ago did a bunch of stuff, made a bunch of money, set it up. That's fine. But then, like, I've seen this personally. Major corporations come in and be like, we'll buy all of this equipment. You need to work on X, Y, and Z. And they just end up, like, owning it and controlling it, man. And anything that comes out, they'll cut deals with universities and be like, this is our property, not yours. Like, we're funding this, but this belongs to us, man.
So are they inadvertently skewing the data to...
Yes. And it does absolutely happens, man. And so the scientist, you got a choice. It's like, oh, I like getting $1 million a year to do this.
Yeah.
If these guys don't pay for it, I can't afford to do my research and further my career. But if I go against them,
they're cutting ties.
So I need to say something
that's do this.
And all those pharmaceutical companies for decades pushed money into research and development, man. And you see that shit coming out today, man. All this fucking science is skewed, man. And now you got 42% of children being diagnosed with mental illness. And it's just the same like top like 10 pharmaceutical companies producing all this shit anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what the fuck? Do you really believe this shit? But we live in today's time, like, you know, we live in a way where if you even begin to question that, then you're some like far right conspiracy theorist. Now, I'm not saying that like, if people have issues,
100%,
like
but
there
not
is
that fucking many.
Yeah, not 42%.
In the world we live in, shit is way too easy for that many people to be having that bad problems.
Like anxiety's real, depression's real, schizophrenia. These are all real issues.
It is, but you probably don't fucking have that.
Yeah, you know, like they're like, oh, I'm depressed. Like, no, dude, you're just human, and sometimes shit sucks.
Sometimes things don't go your way. Like,
and guess what, dude? You're gonna feel a little sad about it.
Yeah,
you gotta have highs and you gotta have lows, man.
Exactly.
You can't coast all the way.
You gotta have the lows to appreciate the highs whenever they do come.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's a whole fucking thing, man.
Yeah, like we're already like almost like I think we're over 20 minutes of this episode. We've just been ranting about the global conspiracists or like the global elitists are at us again, you know. So I don't know. You want to move on to like we can shit on another state, man. We got a state on the agenda. You want to move on to the Tennessee story?
Yeah, this is also.
This is interesting.
This is I was surprised to read about this, but it doesn't make sense. Let's watch the video.
Watch the video, and then we'll talk about it.
New info from the Justice Department. They have found the state, the TBI, as well as the Shelby County District Attorney's Office violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. The Justice Department says they enforced the state's aggravated prostitution statute against people living with HIV. Jay's announcement comes on World AIDS Day as well. An investigation found the state, as well as the Shelby County DA's office, subjected people living with HIV to harsher criminal penalties.
Well, that's interesting. I can see this argument going either way, man. Like, honestly, I see both sides of the coin.
So, personally, I didn't know that having AIDS was a disability. I thought it was a disease.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I would call it
because, like, is cancer a disability or is it a disease?
I mean, if they're using that definition, then any disease you have could be considered a disability. But then they go into what is the definition of a disability? Something like hinders and limits you. So I don't know, man.
But because I don't know, I thought there was a difference between, like, I don't know. But I guess there's mental disabilities, but that again is something different.
Yeah.
I thought like mental or physical disability like was a disability, but then a sickness or an ailment was like more medical, like a disease.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, like at some point, when you become like physically impaired or something like that, then it falls more under the disability realm.
Yeah, but
how we're thinking about it, I guess.
True. But okay, in that situation, if you're a prostitute with AIDS, I don't think you're disabled. You're clearly feeling okay enough to get around and
I don't want to shit on these people, but I think I'm about to.
I mean,
okay, all right. So
I'm not shitting on people with AIDS, but I'm shitting on people that are prostitutes that have AIDS and don't disclose that to their clients.
All right, yeah. So in Tennessee, essentially, like people who got caught prostituting and they had HIV or AIDS, they ended up in the legal system anyway for breaking the law for, fucking. What do they call it? They call it like pandering, right?
But they received harsher punishments because they had HIV.
Yes. So that's a double-edged sword.
Which in my I thought I think in Texas, but I thought just in general that it was against the law to fuck somebody. Like if I have AIDS and I have sex with somebody and don't tell them, I thought that was a criminal offense.
I always heard growing up like you could get charged with murder. For
yeah,
that shit.
I thought so.
So, and it might just be a Texas thing.
It
too.
could be a Texas thing, and again, I heard that when I was younger as well. They could have changed that shit. Gus fucking ass shit we're in now. So.
I don't know. I also heard that like every single tab of ecstasy or MDMA you got caught with was 1 count of manslaughter, which was total horseshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
So I don't know,
man.
We grew up during the DARE program.
I'm just saying,
it told us a lot of fucked up
ecstasy
shit.
Than fucking somebody with AIDS. But
I don't know. I can see it because the way I don't know, man. I can see it going both ways because then what you're doing is you're taking. All right, let me say. All right, I'll start off and say pro this. Okay. Absolutely. Like whether it's prostitution or not, like if you engage in a sexual act with someone and you transmit them a disease, any disease, even if regardless if it's curable
that you know that you have it.
That you know that you have.
And you don't disclose that to the person.
There's an intent for that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
you're purposely hiding something that could harm another person.
Yes.
That's the same as fucking shanking them in a street. Like
yeah. And so the difference between like manslaughter and murder, like is it possible you didn't know? That's a different story.
Yeah, that is a different story, yeah.
You know what I mean? But if there's like medical records that prove this, you were getting treatment or whatever, and then you went out and did some shit, and you just fucking ruined somebody's life.
That's on you.
That's criminal in my opinion, right?
I agree.
But on the flip side, man, you start seeing like courts treat people differently based on like illness or a disability or something like that. That's kind of a fucking slippery slope. Right?
But the thing of that is like that. The way you said that makes sense, but if they were treating someone negatively because they had cancer only affects that person.
Yeah.
Cancer, if I fuck somebody with cancer, I'm not going to get cancer.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
I don't know. And if disabilities like that, they're saying it's like they're being discriminated against, like...
I mean, that is the definition of discrimination,
is, but like,
right?
I don't know. Whenever I hear discrimination, I don't think AIDS. I think racial or something else. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's like typically what it's used for. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe like something based on like race.
What if a black person has AIDS and then they're going to get punished twice as hard?
2 negatives equal positive, man. It cancels out.
So they're off scot-free.
They just walk.
no cash bail.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, like people intentionally knowing need to be held to a standard. But this is how I'd put it, man. The only way you should be able to enforce stricter or harsher punishments is if you could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the individual knew beforehand.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you can't prove it, if you just go on speculation that they did, that's a different story.
Yeah, because if they didn't know that they have AIDS, then they're just a prostitute. They're doing the same job as anyone else, so they shouldn't be held to a. But I don't know, because but then again, that could be like part of the job, like you're supposed to get tested, like porn stars get tested.
Well, so that was the argument.
Know what they have.
That was the argument I was going to roll into, man. This goes back to, we might have talked about it like fucking 80 episodes ago. like I'm an advocate for the legalization of prostitution, man.
I am too.
And I only came to that conclusion in my late 20s when I lived in Western Europe, where it was legal.
Yeah, and they ran it like a legitimate business because it was.
Yeah, and like I'm not saying like I never did any of that shit. None of that shit, man.
But it was there and it was clean and it was okay.
Because Justin don't pay for that shit, you know what I'm saying? But so like but what it is and what I noticed over there, man, is that it was a highly regulated business, okay? And Western Europe based on the entire world has the lowest rate of sexually transmitted disease.
Really?
The lowest rate. And that includes like places like Amsterdam and shit like that, where there's a lot of shit, like crazy shit you can do and stuff, because there's laws around it. Like you have to use a condom.
Yeah.
Right. These women have to be, or men, because I mean, there's a lot of men that are sex workers too. People tend to forget about that, but they had to be tested regularly.
Yeah.
And you as like a patron had the right to request those records too and see that.
Which if you were going to, you need to be doing that shit.
Yeah. You know,
If you care about yourself at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already doing some back alley prostitute shit, but at least have a little self-respect.
But then if you go, and I wrote a paper about this in school when I was studying political science years ago, man. And, I took a deep dive into this because I was living there. So, like, based on my travels when I was in school, like, I would try to write about things that I would see that I wouldn't see in America, right? And one of them was legalized prostitution. And I went through and did a huge dive, man, and take the disease off the table, right?
Yeah.
It generates a shit ton of tax revenue, boom, which those countries normally pump back into their healthcare system. So there's that, but take that off the table.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. And then also what it does is it protects the women in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people think that like, oh, you could just go be like, say in the Netherlands, you could just go be a prostitute, or like in Germany. That's not the case, man. You have to go, it is a process. You have to apply. You have to go and sit through classes where they educate you.
They try to
persuade you not to do it.
Yeah.
And so you have to go to these classes where you get educated, and they show you all these programs and be like, hey, there's all these other jobs you could do that we will help you. And if you're not trained to do it, we will train you to do these jobs. And then they have to make the
still sure about it.
Yeah, and only the woman can be there. They can't be there with anyone else, like an undercover pimp or something that to influence them or whatever.
Boyfriend or some shit.
Yeah, and they provide them resources like where if there is that level of human trafficking trying to occur,
they try to get them.
They stump that shit out like real fucking quick, man. Yeah. And that's like one way to get deported out of Western Europe real quick is participate in human trafficking. But but yeah, man. So I saw all that, and then I just after looking into the data, I was like, if you just look at it logically, it is the most logical choice to make.
But again, like it's like the war on drugs. It's like anything. Just because you make something illegal, it just makes it more dangerous for the people that are going to do it anyway.
Yes, and it's the thing is, man, it's like commonly referred to as the oldest trade.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I mean,
oldest profession.
Yeah, it's been around forever. Like it's never going to go away.
No.
You know, and the more you try to regulate and stump it down, the further you're going to push it into the black market, which is dangerous and no bueno for anybody.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get criminal organizations that usually attract very dangerous and nefarious people. We don't want that. We got enough of that shit on our southern border.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. You know, it's for me personally, I don't think it would ever happen in America, really. I mean, there's one county in Nevada where it happens, right? What is that, Clark County or whatever? They had that famous, like, bunny ranch. HBO had a TV show about it.
Isn't that where that, the basketball player went there and, like, everybody thought he was dead and he almost OD'd in there?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, who was it, man? They had to go drag him out.
Yeah,
like, was it Dennis Rodman?
No.
It
was one of the Kardashians was with that guy at that time. I don't remember who it was.
He just disappeared. They were like some championship.
Oh, dude, it was something Odom. Lamar Odom, was that it?
I can't remember, man. I really can't.
I don't remember, but I think it was. I think his
we should have pulled that story out. That'd been good. Good to like watch a video over that. But I don't think it would really ever go mainstream in America, strictly because even though we like to pride ourselves on separation of church and state, like that's not entirely true at all.
Yeah.
Because when you go to court, you swear on the Bible, everything in our basically as well as founded in what's called Justinian law, but like now they would call it Commonwealth law or whatever. That is all based, a lot of it is just based in Christianity. Mm-hmm. And so with that comes like the morals and ethics of the Christian religion, aka prostitution ain't cool. That shit ain't ever passed.
Which is funny because whenever you interview prostitutes, a lot of them say they have a lot of religious people that are banging them. So
Yeah. And then it's like, well, you got to look at the people who get elected too. It's like God-fearing conservative Christians.
and then how many of them have getting caught sending dick pics and fucking prostitutes
hey,
and
man,
everything else?
that
Like-
fucking piece of shit Matt Gaetz is still in office.
And who was the guy who had something like his
He was
name?
banging a 17-year-old.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
You don't know that?
No.
Tell your story and then I'll tell this one.
What was that guy's name? It was something like stupid but fun. It was a finger or some shit. He kept sending unsolicited dick pics to people.
Oh, Anthony Weiner.
yes,
From New
yes,
York. Yeah.
yes.
He got caught. Then he gave a press statement next to his wife, who was like Hillary Clinton's secretary.
Yeah.
And she like groomed her since like a kid to be her secretary and shit. Then he was like apologized. His wife was there like, I stand by my husband, like I support him, all blah blah blah, all this other shit. And then he turned around, he got caught like a month later, doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And that woman who like blew the lid off of it, I think she ended up, if I remember right, she ended up doing a bunch of like porn advertisements, and I think she started an OnlyFans. She made a lot of money off of that shit.
Well, good for her. I mean,
She threw his ass under
That's
the
good.
bus, son. And then like, you know, it was crazy because like his laptop was one of the ones they found like a bunch of like Hillary's like missing emails on. Yeah, like he had like a laptop they found like, yeah, it was like some Hunter Biden shit. Look it up, man. It's interesting as fuck because they're like, why are these emails on this laptop?
and that's like Clinton's emails, dick pic. Clinton's email, Clinton emails, dick pic.
But his wife ended up leaving him. After the second time, she took the kids and ran, dude.
Good.
She went and hit out with the Clintons or whatever, you know.
I hope she's still okay.
Yeah, you don't know the story about Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida? U.S. Representative?
No,
Yeah. Oh, you know who he is, right? Like
No.
his face? I'll show it to you later, man. But he's like a relatively young guy. I'd say like I think he's like late 30s, maybe pushing like very early 40s, right? Young guy. Well, shit, you want to go to jail?
Yeah, his name's Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz.
Keep talking. I'm just
There
gonna
you
post
go.
a
That's
picture
the
up.
correction on it.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy. And so he
Here's what we're looking at.
yeah, he got in a little bit of a scandal, and I don't know how the fuck he's still walking around. I think they try to charge him under Florida state law. Because you know, like some of the southern states, like the age of consent isn't necessarily
Yeah.
18. Like it could be
Yeah,
as low
like-
as 16 or some shit.
Dude,
like
some
that.
places it's 14. I don't know if they changed that shit. I hope they did, but
God almighty. Okay. So get back to this story because that's just going to start a whole nother. But yeah, it was a few years back, man. But Matt Gaetz came out. He was like one of Donald Trump's like big supporters early on before he became president.
Okay.
The first time, not the second or potentially the third time. But when he was like OG running and stuff, Matt Gaetz was like, yo, this is our dog. Let's do this shit. A lot of people liked him. He gained a lot of popularity. But then I can't even remember exactly how it came out. He was definitely under the investigation. He was under investigation for a while for this shit, like criminal investigation. But they were able to prove, and you could probably readily find this shit if you want to look into it yourself, but it's kind of old news. They were readily able to prove that he had paid for prostitutes using like Cash App. I think he used the girls' names, like, you know, money for candy, you know.
1 hour with Ashley.
Yeah, dude. And well, anyway, that old dude who was running that shit got in some trouble, and turns out not all those girls were over the age of 18.
Oh.
And some of them were like 17.
Did he
shit
know?
like that? I think. Dude, I don't even think he ever really acknowledged. No, I remember watching this. He said that it was a smear campaign, that it was all bullshit. And then like literally the news is like showing like pictures of evidence from like his account and stuff. Like, dude, you paid this dude. Like there's names on here.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like, they're just trying to like bring down like the Republican Party and like all this other shit.
Like they probably are, but you were doing some bad shit, man. You gotta own up to that.
It's like, fuck, I can't remember that senator. This is a long time ago. He got caught with 2 prostitutes. I think they said they were strippers. Adult entertainers.
Adult entertainers,
And
yeah.
he got caught with like 2 strippers in a water fountain in D.C. at like fucking 3 a.m, coke to the gills. Like, just, I can't remember the guy's name, man. I doubt he's even still in office. But yeah, dude. They do some dirty shit behind closed doors, man. They really do, dude. I mean, you know, like, they're all psychos anyway. You have to be
Yeah.
an absolute psycho to like want that
100%, and that's why people all they talk back. They're like, "Oh, this guy's such an asshole. He's a piece of like, dude. That's how he got into that position.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to those levels of power by being a fucking stand up nice dude. Like, you got to step on some people. You do underhanded shit. You do messed up shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like I read I think this is the book. This is a long time ago. I believe it was called The Sociopath Next Door. And they said that 1 out of 25 people are sociopaths. But however, one thing they noticed, and this is different from sociopaths, but they noticed that 4% that they could prove of all Fortune 500 companies, 4% of the CEOs were legitimate psychopaths. Because they could make decisions and not feel any emotion that would affect tens of thousands of, they could just be like, lay off 25,000 people tomorrow. You know, whereas like normal people like us can't.
We're like, oh God, they have a family.
Yeah, like if we make those decisions, it's gonna like crush our fucking soul.
It's gonna actually affect our mental
because we're fucking human. Like you know, we're not goddamn robots.
We have a shred of morality.
I don't think they're psychopaths. I think they're lizards, actually, reptilian overlords. But whatever, that's just me, dog.
Dude, okay, well, if there's probably like on that, probably what 80% of them have to be like narcissist at least.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like because you have to be to get to that level.
Have you ever met someone who's like really wealthy or has like a lot of control or like power?
Yeah, I've met like a couple.
Have you ever noticed how like most of them are really weird or something's off about them? Yeah, you're like, I could never hang out with this person. Like I could never have like a real conversation.
I think they have a problem. I think they're like dissociated with other people.
They have to
times.
They live in like a weird fucked up bubble, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've talked about it many times, like, especially like the ultra wealthy, like, they're just weird people, man. Like, I mean, I've never met a billionaire that I'm aware of, but I have met a few millionaires in my life, and a lot of them, man, are just fucking weird, man. Fucking weird, you know? Or like they'll make jokes and you'll be like, that's not really that funny. You know?
I've met a couple, like, the only millionaires that I've met that were like, cool, like legitimate people were the ones that started from the started from the fucking bottom. Yeah. Like those guys. But they're on a different level.
Yeah,
because,
I'm
like,
thinking
because they started and they fucking worked their way.
Yeah, like I started washing dishes at a fucking restaurant.
Yeah, like one guy worked at a fucking butcher shop and then that was his fucking
ended up owning some shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking more of like I would say like the nepotism or like families where they like intentionally basically breed the next generation to control
take over their shit.
Yeah, you know. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, man, you got to be a psycho to want to do that shit. I think everyone, like, you know, because everyone gets pissed off about politics because it doesn't matter what side you're on, you're gonna get pissed. But like, I think we all at some point are like, man, we should get a normal guy in there, or like, fuck it, like I'll run for like county commissioner or whatever. And then you really start looking into it and you're like, fuck that. There is no amount of money that would ever make me want to do that.
Because a person that you would want to have that job wouldn't want that job.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about this shit at the university the other day. I was talking to one of my professors and we were just talking about politics or whatever. And I asked him, I was like, have you ever noticed that like no scientist ever run for these like positions? He was like, yeah, they're too smart. He was like it's always like history majors, like poli-sci majors, like attorneys. I think like over 50% of Congress is actual like bar certified attorneys or whatever, which is alarming.
I mean, that fucking helps them out.
Which is alarming.
Yeah. That's how they know how to play the system.
Yeah, I know, right? Help you write laws or whatever.
Make those insider trades and shit.
Shit. Speaking of playing the system, man, we need to talk about that what's going down in Illinois with the second coming of Christ, aka Donald J. Trump, man.
They're trying to cut our man down again.
Can't silence a patriot. Let's watch this video, man, and then we'll talk about this drastic effort to save our democracy.
Yeah.
Some more breaking news. We just saw that an Illinois judge has removed Trump from the primary ballot there, but then possibly stayed that order or paused that order, hoping that Trump's lawyers will respond soon. What is going on there?
Yeah, this is the third state that has removed Donald Trump from the ballot on the grounds that he committed insurrection. And then under the 14th Amendment, he is disqualified. Of course, the Supreme Court heard an appeal of the Colorado decision on that, and it seemed like a majority of justices were not buying that argument. And so it's widely expected that fairly soon the Supreme Court is going to come out with an opinion saying that Donald Trump can't be disqualified from the ballot on those grounds. So this Illinois decision may ultimately be moot, but we'll have to see exactly what the Supreme Court does, God.
Well, there you go, folks. Your democracy at work right there, man. Third state to remove him from a ballot. But although they said they paused this order.
So, like, what's the point of that? Like, they're just trying to stir up some shit. They're like, we're gonna take him off, and they said they were hoping that Trump's lawyers would respond. Like, are they just trying? Like, that sounds like you're just like fucking poking the bear. Like, what do you get out of that?
I don't know. So that was a state, right?
Yeah,
state court. Okay, so this is kind of the thing that I started noticing, man, because it's usually more liberal judges that are doing this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So who appoints federal judges? President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you make the jump from like state to federal? You do some major shit. You pass some big ass laws, or like you show that you have some serious allegiance or whatever. It may be, right?
So you think they're just doing this for clout?
Yeah. As the kids would
I could
say,
see that.
they're doing it for clout, and they're hoping that like a Democrat fucking wins, and they can become a federal judge.
They could be like, I tried to cancel Trump, and they'll be like, yeah, I got you, my boy.
Because all the federal courts are cutting this shit down. They're like, no, you can't do this, And my thing is like, regardless of whatever your opinions may be, right? And I have my own theories about the Department of Justice and the courts in this fucking country, right? But I will say this. Innocent until proven guilty. And the thing about Trump is he has not been found guilty of insurrection or like rebelling against the state. None of that shit.
He wasn't there. First off.
He wasn't even there. He had a rally down the road beforehand, at which I watched the entire thing live. And he never one time
said go to the White House and kick down doors and shit.
I mean, he was like, hey, we're going to march on the Capitol. Yeah. He did say that. And he was just like, but it was nothing to insinuate violence, right?
It was nothing that the Free Palestine motherfuckers haven't done already over there.
Yeah, which is way worse.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to talk about. Did you see that guy who burned himself outside the Israeli embassy?
Yeah, he was fucking Air Force.
He was in his uniform.
He's an idiot.
Did you watch that video?
No.
I watched the whole thing unedited.
He was screaming Free Palestine while he was burning
alive, yeah. He kept screaming Free Palestine. He fucking lived, right?
He lived?
I don't know if he's still alive, but he was in critical condition.
They need to send his fucking ass to Iran.
Dude,
just wrap him in an American flag, send him to Iran, and be like, here, you can take him.
Palestine? Or Iran, whatever.
Yeah, they're all the same people. Send him fucking FedEx to the goddamn Houthis.
It smells like burnt bacon or some shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. So wrap him in bacon and send him to the Houthis.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that dude was fucking unhinged, man. He was accusing the U.S. government of participating in genocide, and he was like, I can't stand by and watch this happen anymore.
I'm just gonna burn myself like an idiot.
Yeah, and you hear it on the video, security guards are like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And he just has a canteen. He pours it over the top of his head, and then he starts screaming shit about Israel, Palestine or whatever. And then he has trouble lighting it. He got his lighter wet or something. And then he finally lights it, and he goes up in flames, and he just is screaming Free Palestine. And then there's a moment. It's all sad, and it's pointless. But there's a moment where he's just like. He doesn't cuss, but he's like, you can tell the heat's starting to get to him. He's like, oh my God. And then he keeps screaming. And then, dude, it takes 4 fire extinguishers to put that shit out, man. And he's just a charred, just sitting outside this embassy, man.
Jesus.
But anyway, man, we go back on.
I'm glad he lived.
Yeah, live with the choices of your actions.
Yeah, I hope that he, yeah, I hope he has some time when he's in that hospital bed to think about and reflect on what he's done.
I wonder, 'cause, we were both military, man. I wonder, once he gets done recovering, is the military going to try to prosecute him under the UCMJ?
Dude,
he's 95% burnt.
They should
on his body, dude.
Make him go back to work.
Well, they reactivate you to prosecute you. But he was, I think he was active duty.
I'm pretty sure.
So I mean, it's if you really want to. I mean, I guess they could just do an admin separation.
Put him on 12s. Fucking
put him on 12.
What's that shit called? Extended duty?
Extended duty, man. Holy fuck, dude. That shit ain't no joke, man. Because they get you in there for 7 days a week.
Yeah.
They give you 8 hours on Sundays, but every day you get 12 hours and 8 hours on Sundays.
I know those dudes that would get in trouble in my shop and they'd have that shit
for 2 months, man.
They would just be fucking wiping countertops, sweeping the floors, because at some point there's not anything to do.
Yeah. I mean,
at that point, if you were doing that shit, people everyone fucking hated you.
You'd be like, dude, I spend 92 hours a week in this office.
Yeah, and I spend 6 hours a day wiping a goddamn 4-foot countertop with a paper towel.
God, imagine that dude being skin. He can't even grow hair anymore. He's all fucked up and shit, and he's just trying to wipe down a counter 6 months from now.
Supervisor walks by. Hey, you're doing great, buddy.
Oh, God. When you have a sunburn and someone hits you. fuck, dude.
Fucking burned his eyelids off and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, they're probably gonna do something. They'll probably just let him go, but
I'm sure they will.
because it's just
But they need to teach that dude a lesson.
make a point. Be like, all right, no burning yourself out of protest. You know, they always like try to make an example.
They're gonna have to have briefings over this now. I think they're gonna pull everybody into the theater and be like, all right, we got to have a 45-minute PowerPoint about why you shouldn't light yourself on fire.
They will do something like that.
They for sure will.
Like they'll probably tone it down and be like, you know that we can't protest while in uniform or something like that. And be like, what do you mean by protest? You mean burning yourself to a crisp outside of a fucking Israeli embassy?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. You're not supposed to attend protests in uniform either.
That's why you never see people in the military doing it, because you can really get fucked up for that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. God, I like how we were talking about this whole ballot situation, and we just went on this dude just burning his ass.
It would be sad, but he did it to himself, so I don't have any.
I have no sympathy, man, for that dude. I want to know, did he write a manifesto? We talked about this on the last couple episodes.
Probably not.
People don't write manifestos anymore. That's a shame.
Fucking creative writing days are just done. Disgusting.
The art is dead. Yeah. It's like getting pissed because people don't write manifestos anymore. It's like, holy shit, dude. Art is dead. Fuck, dude. But yeah, so I guess that once again, now the third state, because it was Colorado,
Maine,
and then it was Maine, and then now Illinois is trying to attempt to remove Donald Trump from the primary ballots, at least. So we'll see how this goes. I don't see it holding up at all, man. Now, if he was found guilty...
Yeah, if he's found guilty, then yeah, they have a right to ban him.
If you just find him guilty of one crime. Just find him guilty of one crime, and they can't. Dude's got like 90 charges.
And he's got every person... Like, he's got so many people against him.
Yeah.
He's had it for years.
And so the only way they
can't nail him down.
The only way they're able to get him is like on civil cases and shit.
Yeah, they're trying to drain his goddamn bank account.
That's what they're doing. They're like, we're going to bankrupt this fucking dude, man.
And you know what he's going to do? He's going to make Trump shoes 2.0. He's going to just keep rolling out with new shit.
It would be a good time just to like, if you had a pair, like you just kick up a foot like on the desk so they can see it on the camera or whatever. Be like, check these out. Smoking a cigar. You know? I do kind of want to get a pair of them, man, and just wear them and see.
I do want a pair myself.
It's just because it's him.
It's really just the point of it all. Like, I don't care about the shoe. I don't care about supporting him so much. I just want the shoes for the fucking...
It's funny.
Because it would be funny to have.
It's just entertaining. That's all it is, man. So
let's go in on it. We'll each buy we'll get one shoe. We'll split it.
But Trump is a big troll, man.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he recently just took a trip to the border at Eagle Pass where Abbott's building that base or whatever.
Theme park.
Yeah, theme park according to our shorts. And but did you well, I guess we got a funny video from
let's watch that shit.
Yeah.
In Blatter's whole cost.
Oh my god.
This guy's got a on it.
Like laughing and waving, dude.
Never it's the parking lot. Watch synchronous. Have a box. We can't result with that. So it's that business. Further, can try to let up full fence to go. Show us what they zombie. You know,
Sharply, razor wire.
Yeah. Poor choice of words.
And the best ballers meets Proctor Richards and take girl have some. And it's late.
They're like yelling his name too, man.
Say, I'm gonna patch. They like Trump. Can you believe?
Yeah, dude, he's a troll, man.
Yeah.
So for those of you just on audio, what we just saw was a video of Donald Trump going to the border at Eagle Pass
with Abbott.
They're sitting next to each other behind like a fence.
They're looking through the fence and all the razor wire, waving at immigrants on the other side,
trying to get over, and the immigrants are like chanting his name.
Yeah, they're all throwing hands up like Trump.
He's like, can you believe it? Even they like Trump. You know, he's a fucking troll, man.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I will say this, man, like. In our lifetime, like outside of like serious conflicts, you know, like all the, you know, the war on terror after like 9/11 and stuff, Trump's probably been the most entertaining in my lifetime, most entertaining president in my lifetime. I mean, it was never
100%.
It was never a dull moment, man.
No.
Like even when there wasn't like conflicts going on in the world, like he was just picking fights with like politicians and shit.
Yeah.
You know, giving him nicknames.
Giving nicknames, talking shit.
It's like a schoolyard bully.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, you're trash. You're trash. Just constant.
Your wife is a dog.
Yeah, dude. God, he had so many nicknames for people, man. But like, I still think the funniest one was like Crooked Hillary, dude.
Oh yeah.
He's just, God damn it. I just remember those debates. I think it's the third debate they did, and she was like, "Thank God someone like Donald isn't in charge of like the laws in this country," and then he's just like, "Cause you'd be in jail." And
Yeah.
drops that fucking
I
mic.
was like, whoa.
That's what the debates need to be, man. They need to be that, dude. They gotta
Some Def Jam comedy shit. Like,
yes, dude. We gotta know. These guys can
it
really take
starts
the
off
heat.
with 2 minutes of Yo Mama jokes back to back.
Just like a roast battle.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you gotta know it. Like, I mean, that's how you want a leader that's gonna be able to take the heat, man. Like on the fly, dude.
And
Just
can think quick, like,
You know?
do
Yeah.
crowd work.
Yeah, he's got a solid 15, man. He's got a
For
solid
sure, for
15.
sure.
He can come up there. I'm not saying he can showcase, but I mean, I think he can at least open him up.
Oh
man.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, he'll get people riled up, warmed up.
Yeah, dude. He's good, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm calling it. I think he's going to win, but something is going to happen
Yeah,
that's going to try to stop him from actually setting foot in the White House. There's probably going to be some court shit.
again, I know we've talked about it, but do you know how pissed people are gonna be if he wins?
To me, that's the funniest part.
Oh,
about it.
it's yeah,
Is there serious repercussions that can come out of that? Absolutely.
for sure. But
But fuck
it
me.
is going to be funny.
That shit is going to be entertaining, and it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
It's probably going to happen, dude. He just sits back in the office like, I'm back. You know, like, holy shit, dude.
He like grabs the nearest secretary, kisses her on the mouth. Did you miss me? Like some cartoon shit.
Grab her by the pussy, smack her on the ass.
It's good to be here.
Like, you know?
Like a goddamn Mortal Kombat move.
Or just like that same shit he was saying on that bus where he was like, you can do whatever you want here. You can even grab by the pussy.
Yeah,
You know, he's like talking about the White House.
Yeah.
Though, you know? White House really doesn't have a good history of that shit, man.
No, they don't.
There's been several presidents, man, that have been kind of wrapped up in like scandals.
And that's just the ones that got found out.
they got caught, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, like JFK, man, like he used to have like his Secret Service block his family from coming in like certain areas of the White House, and he would just have like literally just women come over, and he would have like friends, and they would just like drink and smoke cigars and just fuck and stuff like that. Bill Clinton, he got caught.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was a famous one. So I don't know.
I feel like
Who knows?
I feel like the majority of them do that kind of shit.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I mean, oh yeah, dude. I bet they're all fucking crazy. They probably all seen each other fuck.
Yeah, I bet so.
You know what I mean? It's probably a ritual. You go into a room, it's like some eyes wide shut shit. Everyone's wearing cloaks, and they're like, do you want to be the next senator for the state of Oklahoma? And he's like, yes.
They're like, then you have to bang this disabled chick.
It's like some horrible shit or something, you know, where it's like, I don't want to do it, but I want to be a leader. You know, I don't know.
You don't even have a choice. They're just closing you, and pushing you. Yeah.
Oh, like chants and
Yeah.
shit. Whole room's lit by candles. There's a fucking pentagram on the wall or some
They've got
shit.
an owl with its head on fire in the background, like crucified and shit.
You gotta drink a cup of blood before you get up there. It's virgin blood, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You know, people thought like Trump's first term was like crazy. His second term's been kind of a little iffy, but his third's gonna be really insane. Like,
Dude, if he get like, yeah, because you know he's gonna just hit the ground doing some crazy shit.
yeah, dude, he has nothing to lose. If he actually
No.
gets in, he sets in, he can secure it, man. He has nothing to lose because he can't run for president ever again. Term limits. And
Probably gonna fucking die anyways. I mean,
yeah, here's the thing: is like you thought he was wild the first term. Like, imagine all the shit he did. Imagine the shit he didn't do because they were like, that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you might want to run again. Maybe we should save it for next time. And presidents historically will do that.
yeah.
So he comes back in, dude. That's gonna be hell. You know what? Maybe that's why like all these more like liberal judges and like all these liberal politicians are really trying to stop him from.
I mean,
like,
they're probably scared.
fucking scared.
They
man.
need to be
They're-
scared.
That's got to be terrifying. It's like you bully a kid in middle school, then you go home for summer break, you come home in like high school, then all of a sudden the dude's fucking jacked.
They've been doing steroids,
like, he's been slinging
drinking
steel.
breast milk.
Drinking breast milk, slinging steel in his garage, waiting for this fucking
Just
moment.
have your goddamn picture on the wall every time he's pumping that bar, just getting pissed at you, like thinking about this day, like
Yeah, dude. I'd be fucking terrified. But you know what? It's gonna be fucking.
Those fucking judges in New York better be scared.
I'd be fucking terrified, man. Somewhere RFK Jr. is gonna fit in all this. I don't know where yet, but somewhere he's gonna.
Yeah, he needs to get a spot.
Yeah, it'd be dope. It'd be kind of. I mean, like I said before, I think we both said it. It'd be kind of dope if you picked him for vice president.
Mm-hmm. Hell, even toss Vivek a bone. Like, gives him something to do.
Give him a chance. I could see all those people that were on the debate stage. Some of those people are going to get cabinet positions.
Yeah,
and I could see him putting like Vivek like in charge of like Secretary of Commerce or something like that.
Nikki ain't getting a goddamn thing.
Nikki ain't getting shit. Like, goddamn, dude. Oh fuck, that woman. That woman's something that she will not give up, man.
She won't.
I guess I got to give her some credit there, man. Like, she's literally fighting a losing battle, and she's like, "No, I'm just gonna keep going."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna pull through."
It's like she's fucking delusional, man. There's no way she's gonna win. I don't know, but you know what? It's a democracy. Maybe we can always be proven wrong, right?
Yeah, nobody's trying to take her off the ballot, so fuck.
I don't know. Anyway, guys, don't forget to get out there and vote.
Stay positive.